In Photoshop, say you've got an image and you want to combine it. Well, you could use layers. It's a pretty good way of doing it. You could create multiple copies, different effects, combine them again, and so on. But say you want this image and combine it in multiple ways and try it out very quickly and easily. Bit harder with layers, I think. A really powerful feature is the apply image command, and you can find that in image and apply image. It's just there. So with apply image, you can combine images, layers and channels in multiple different ways to explore just say a single image. So with this image, what I can do, you can go to image and duplicate. The thing with apply image, the image needs to be the same size. You could of course use any kind of image. You could use a gradient, but what you can also do is use the image itself. So duplicate image and click OK. So now I've got a duplicate that just says copy. With that, what I can do, I can create multiple layers. I want to use multiple layers. So let's just quickly go over here to the layers panel. You can find that in the window menu and hold down the Alt Option key. That's on your keyboard, Alt Option key. And then you go over here and you can just drag. And it should duplicate it, but it doesn't because it's locked. So you need to click there. Now hold down the Alt Option key and drag and it will duplicate. Slightly annoying feature, but however, you have to unfortunately unlock it first. And you can repeat this, so you can create multiple very quickly just by dragging upwards or there and say create 6 or 7 layers. With this one, I'm going to keep the same. Perfectly reasonable too, but also I'm going to select the bottom one or next to bottom. And then I can go to any of the filters. So filter, and I can go down here to blur and Gaussian blur. And the great thing about Photoshop, when you apply a blur to a layer that's below, you can actually see the effect. Wouldn't be helpful if you use the last, there you've got last, all these options here. Unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to see what the actual preview is. And you can modify there the pixels. So just going to go for, say, 9. So you've got a blurred image there. And that's in that one. Now you could, of course, just rename it, say blurred. Makes it easier if you rename it. Obviously, if you don't, you've just got layer 0, copy 2, which is not very convenient. But say you go and select another one, and then you can go, say, filter, and you can use a distort. So let's just go for twirl. So twirl, and you've got the twirl effect there. And click OK. In this case, double click, and enter the word twirl. So you've got that. Then you can select this one, and maybe this time go for a liquify. So filter and liquify. And I'm just going to distort it very quickly. You can, of course, create all kinds of different effects and click OK. Go liquify. And you can see the general gist of the thing. So I'm just going to go up to the last there, a couple more, and maybe filter and distort and spherize. So you can just apply a spherize effect, click OK, and double click, spherize. Probably misspell it. And that one. Filter, maybe go for some colors as well. So image adjustment, don't have to always just use filters. Maybe go for hue and saturation. So let's just go for that, and you can see that's a green. So just double click, green. And now final one, just go for filter and stylize, and maybe combine multiple effects. So oil paint, so you've got oil paint effect, lovely smooth effect. And then because it's on the top, you can actually see the effect of it. Apply it a couple of times. Maybe go for an invert. So image, adjustment, and invert. So you've got that. So inverted. Now you can use them. So go back to the original. So you're in the original, and now you can go to apply image, and image, apply image. See it there, click there. And now, by default, probably go to this one by first. But you can select the other copy. So there's the copy, and you've got merged. It goes for merge first. But you can say go for green, and then straight away you can see now you've got your green effect. So you might have created or maybe an image of something else. It doesn't have to be this image, of course. Or maybe a gradient effect or type. You could have added type into the imagery as well. Lots of different things could be used. And you think, oh, you know what, let's go for the red. And you can see obviously it has a slight change there, green. You can run through, just try them out. Maybe you decide blue. Now, I'm using linear burn. You could go for dark colour, lighten. So you can see with this effect, you can just try out lots of different ones. So I'm going to go with overlay, green, or maybe go with liquify. And you can see then you can combine the liquify effect into it. Well, what you can then do is also you can click mask. So mask, click there. Now you could use the same image. So you could use that one, or you could use again the other copy, which is this one. And again, merged, and maybe go for, say, twirl. So the mask is then used, the twirl is used as a mask. And you can select obviously the channel there, red, green, blue, just see which one you prefer. And then, of course, if you're happy with the image, you can click OK. And you've got that. Well, what you can do, unfortunately, there's no repeat apply image. It'd be really nice if you could go over here and apply it again, but there isn't. So image and go down to apply image. But luckily, it does remember the previous values. So you've got all the previous values, and then you can just change your mind. You can say, oh, let's go through it. And now the original effect obviously is still there. You can go through linear burn, maybe decide to go with lighten, go with green, and so on. Just try out different ones. Maybe go for blurred instead to get a blurry effect into your image as well, if that's what you're aiming for. And again, click OK. Now, once you've actually got something, you might think, well, actually, I really like that, but I want to use that in combination. So go to select all. So you've selected it all, this obviously this current image, and then edit and copy, or obviously the shortcut, even quicker. Once you've done that, then go here, and then you can then paste this in. So edit and paste. So it's pasted in, and you've now got that effect added into your long list of layers. And you might say, just call that apply image 1. So you can just rename it, and now go back. Now you could, of course, go back to the original image. You could go just to undo, so you don't have to have it. You're back to the original image, and now you've got that obviously stored away as a snapshot of what that effect was. And again, image, down to apply image, and then select again the copy. That's the key thing, the duplicate. And then you can go down here, and you've got apply image 1 there. So you've got that effect. Now, RGB, lighting, obviously it's not going to have much probably effect there, but say you go for hard mix. So you can now see you've got that combined there. Subtract and add. Now these are great ones, add and subtract. These ones generally don't appear in blend modes. So you've got access to something that's really quite useful. So add, and then you've got scale here. So you can modify that, you can modify the offset, and you can see great different, it's just brighten it up a bit there. And of course then click OK. You've got that applied. Again, image, apply image, and again, obviously got that. You can then go and change your mind and go for, say, let's go for colour burn this time. Maybe combine it with the liquify effect, and so on. Literally thousands of combinations can be applied multiple times, all stored away in this file and accessible in this one. And it's a great way of creating some very quick, which would be very tricky to do with layers. You could do it, but you wouldn't access the channel information. You wouldn't have access to the mask information particularly. So all these things, all greatly accessible via apply image, which I think is a very useful, powerful way of combining different images. And there's also, if you want, image and calculations, which also will use the same thing. So if you go to calculations, in calculations, you end up with a black and white image or grayscale. But again, you've got the same things, you've got copy, and you can see then you can combine this, and you've got masks as well. And you can also say the result, which is unusual. The other one doesn't have that feature. I would love to see that being updated to include, like, obviously creating maybe a smart object from it, all those sort of things, or a new document. So you can very quickly just create a new document using this there. So go for green, and you can see then great for texture effects. So it's a combination of apply images and calculations. you can literally create loads and loads of amazing documents with all your different effects. And you might decide this time, got merge, let's go for spherize. And you can see then you've got that combined there. Just try it, liquefy, and click OK. Creates a new document, which you can then use, of course, in your image, apply image. So now you've got access to this, obviously called Untitled. Good idea to rename it, but you can select that, and then you can see you can combine that as well, color burn, try out different techniques with that, different channels and so on, and click OK. You got any questions, any comments? Always great to hear from you. A like or dislike, always appreciated. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Always add new tutorials about Affinity Photo, Photoshop and many others as well. Bye.